the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I'll sing along if you will. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Good morning. Welcome to Sunday service at Everett Unity. Let's start our time together today with a reading from the Daily Word. Sunday, May 19th. In the book of Exodus, Moses asks God his name. God responds, I am who I am. I am is the name of the divine presence within us, a reminder of our spiritual nature. Sometimes we may forget our divine identity by thinking of ourselves as weak, incapable, or unfortunate. If we have spoken disempowering words about ourselves, we release those thoughts and stop using those words. Each day we say, I am, strengthens our awareness of the truth of our being. We are God's life, love, wisdom, and strength, expressing uniquely as each of us. As we pay attention to our thoughts and words, we are able to recognize and release limiting thoughts more quickly. Our awareness of our true identity grows stronger and stronger. Our scripture today from Matthew chapter 16, verse 15. He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" In our opening statement, I am a living expression of God. Let's say that together. I am a living expression of God. All right, well, let's sing together. Steve is going to lead us in song number 355. That's in your Wings of Song songbook, number 355. When you find that, stand as you are able, and we will sing together.
This is to the tune you might recognize, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. So picture that in your head and we'll be doing just fine. God's love is deep within me, ever satisfying my soul. God's love is deep within me, ever satisfying my soul. God's life is deep within me, ever satisfying
Well, good morning and welcome again to Everett Unity. I'd like to introduce you to the people who are most visibly serving you today. You were greeted by our usher, Nadine. Yvonne is hosting our social hour. Josh and Walter and Dennis are providing audio-video support today. Terry and Steve Mason are here to join us. Welcome back, Steve. Nice to have you. And Therese is helping downstairs with our children and our youth program director. My name is Cindy, and in a few minutes here, I'm going to invite Mary Fisher. Just wave. Mary is our current board president, and Chris Druell, one of our former board presidents. They're going to come up, and we're going to follow up on our discussion about the spiritual attribute of power. So I look forward to a lot of conversation, and I hope you came prepared to contribute and ask questions. Like I said in the email, we are not going to give you answers, but we can discuss and find out what you think sounds like the truth to you. So if you brought your cell phone in with you today, you can go ahead and turn that off, because you're not going to have the opportunity to phone a friend during this. So you're going to have to go it on your own. And just a couple of announcements. We did have Niobe's emotional vibration meditation planned for 1 o'clock this afternoon, but she has had a little bit of a medical situation come up and is not well enough to come and join us today. So I'm sorry to say that will be canceled. And those of us who go to that group when she comes, we are really not only sad to miss out on having her here today, but of course we wish her well and hope that she'll be back and able to join us for the next event in July. A couple of announcements about scheduling. So we have fun things coming up this summer. We have our Aqua Sox game scheduled. We'll be going August 18th to the Aqua Sox game, and I will remind you of that again, because I was thinking, I just told them to turn off their phones, and they probably have their calendar on their phone, so now they can't put it in their calendar. So I will tell you again, but Aqua Sox August 18th. Our annual potluck picnic will be a little bit later this year, September 15th, out at Legion Park. And then we have 2 events coming up that the church is going to participate in. After we spent a few hours on a Saturday morning sitting out in the front yard at the plant sale, we realized we have a lot of people come by this church. And when there is a big event happening in downtown Everett, people are going to park in front of the church. They're going to walk past the church. And so we are going to put an informational table out front of the church on Monday, May 27th, which is the Cruise to Colby Day. So all the hot rodders and all of their hot rodding friends are going to be walking past the church. So we're going to have dog treats and a water dish, and we're going to have some candy and some water and information card about Everett Unity, and let the city of Everett know who their neighbors are. We're going to do exactly the same thing on June 15th for Pride Day. They have their celebration over on Wetmore, right where the farmers market is. So they will be parking and walking past our building. So we will be participating in that. Some of you have asked me about the pride flag. It was taken down. It was removed against our will, let's say that. And we are putting one back up. And I bought extra. So if they try it again, we're just going to put it right back up again. That's how we roll. So that will be up here in the next week or so. I'm looking over here because I have someone who will help us get it put up, and I don't know what his schedule is, but we'll get that put back up before Pride. So, okay, well, let's sing together again. Melodies from the Heart Songbook, the other 3-ring binder songbook, song number 56, Stand As You Are Able, and Steve will lead us in another song.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain in my soul. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain in my soul. Joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. Peace like a river, one more time. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Good singing. All right.
You don't get to hear them from the front like this very often, Steve. They sound good up here, don't they? All right. Well, I'd like to invite Mary and Chris to come on up and have a seat up here on the platform. Chris is going to lead us in a little bit of a meditation, and then we'll have another song, and then we will start in on our little Q&A, and I am going to go sit down in the audience and meditate.
Good morning. I think Mary was getting a little nervous. She said she wasn't, but I was late. Okay, you should trust me. I'll get here. So good morning, and we're going to do something that we did a while back, and I was a little skeptical about it at first because we had never done it before, but our lesson for the day was all of us. And that time, Rick went around with a microphone, and we would have a really good discussion and turn out really well. So Cindy volunteered Mary and I to do it this time, which I'm looking forward to. And I will do a brief meditation. And the other thing that's going to be a little different, those of you who have been around for a while how many of you remember the Sri Ram chant? Okay, well, we are going to do that this morning, which those of you who have not, you're in for a nice surprise. It's a singing type chant. The words are Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, and I probably forgot the last line, but it's a repetition. And it's to music, and the speed of it changes, and it's a really nice way to get centered. And you'll hear, just when you have heard it a few times, just open up your mouth and let some sound come out that matches what you're hearing, because it's a great meditation technique. And we have it on a CD. So I'll just do a real brief kind of breathing. Let's get ourselves settled, me included. And then we will start with the Shri Ram. Eyes open or closed, whatever you like. So for just to begin today, let's just, if you enjoy closing your eyes in meditation, do that. If you, whatever feels comfortable for you. And just settle into your seats. And take a few nice, easy, deep breaths. Maybe count, inhale to 4, hold it for a few moments, and then exhale. Slow, easy, deep breaths, letting your whole body relax. feeling this lovely energy through your body, more and more peaceful as you follow your breath inward. Knowing that you have nothing else to do in this moment. Just finding that peaceful center. Knowing that you are in the right place at the right time.
Jai
That was beautiful. Everybody feeling it on their own and then getting to be a part of this community. And that's what I wrote this song about. It's called There's a Circle. There are times we feel downhearted when we'd swear we walk alone. Still we search for any sign that we might find our pathway home. Now there's something oh so lovely, like a star in the crystal night, when I'm reminded deepest darkness can be lit with just one candle's light. There's a circle we're a part of, hand in hand it goes with love. In this circle there's strength in numbers as we rise to lift each other up. With the help of sisters and brothers and some friends I have yet to know, they give me strength to face the future. They lift me up so I'm never alone. And there's a circle we're a part of, hand in hand it glows with love. In this circle there's strength in numbers as we rise to lift each other up. Every breath, every step, every heartbeat in my chest, there's a circle we're part of as we rise to lift each other up. Come the morning, bright and cleansing, it's gonna warm from the outside in. Nothing shines so, oh so brightly as the love that shines from within. There's a circle we're a part of, hand in hand it glows with love. In this circle there's strength in numbers as we rise to lift each other up, as we rise to lift each other up. You want to sing on this, the words are we rise with love. We rise with love. We rise with love. We rise. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, so now it really is my turn. All right. So is this microphone on? Hello? Hello? It's not my turn. Hello? Hello? Perfect. Perfect. So I am going to be Vanna in the audience. So if you are going to ask a question or make a comment, we need to have you on the microphone so our dear friends at home can hear what you're saying. And truly, so the rest of us in the room can hear what you're saying, right? Because hearing's not what it used to be. So this whole idea for this Sunday morning came about not only because we did it with Rick, which is absolutely true. I was gone that day, and I heard it was amazing. Rick is really good at this. I asked him to be part of the panel, but he actually took a vacation. What? He didn't clear that with me. And so we are going to try to do as good a job as Rick did, right? And then I also thought it was perfect because when Joanna was here, we don't usually get a lot of participation from all of you when we have a speaker on the platform. But you were in rare form that day, and you really had great ideas and great comments, and I knew you still had burning things you wanted to say. So we hope to give you a little bit of time to do that today. So do you have anything you'd like to lead in with, Chris? I think probably the most important thing in thinking about this spiritual attribute of power, Mary and I had been discussing. We have an abundance of power misused in our culture. So what we want to talk about today is the appropriate use of power and the spiritual attribute of power and how we can use that not only to improve our own lives, but to improve the lives of all of our communities, small and large.
Cindy has told you about this book, which I found out, and I'd forgotten, it's signed by the author. I got this at Unity Village when I was there once. Anyway, it's the 12 Powers for the New Millennium, and it really fleshes out and makes it very contemporary. So I was just kind of skimming some things. Going back to the very basics, what Charles Fillmore, how he described power was that it's our innate control over our thoughts and feelings. And as you know, in Unity, we talk a lot about the power of the word and the affirmations and keeping our thoughts right. And that, so it's the word doesn't have to be spoken. It can be thoughts. It can be what you express out into the world and to yourself in that little quiet voice that talks to you as well. So that's kind of like a starting point, I think. And then some other things about it being evolutionary, and we're on that path. But I'd like to hear what all of you have to say too. And I'm not going to stand up here and give a talk. Maybe you have one prepared.
Well, it's interesting when Cindy, brought this to me the days afterwards. I was thinking about it, and I was listening to a podcast, and what came to me was the power of words, our external words and our internal words. And that really hit me because, our words really create, our biochemistry and how we feel, and our thoughts organize our emotions, and it's all just interconnected. So powerful. Yep.
And how different the world would be if we just personally had control over our own thoughts and words. Clean up your own backyard, right?
So what else can we control but that, huh?
Yeah, truly. There she goes. She should have worn right.
And my 10,000 steps begin.
Thinking about the intent behind power, and everyone has power and they project power, and it's the choices you make. Are you choosing with your spirituality, with Holy Spirit, or are you choosing with your ego? And so many people don't even realize that choice exists, and they just live day to day in their ego choices, and you can see what's going on from that. So that's the important thing I'm trying to make, is that it's your choice that you make with your higher power or your ego existence, the flesh and blood stuff. So there it is. Intent, choice, make it good. Thank you.
I'm going to follow up on that. When I first attended Everett Unity in '97, I took Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life class. It was awesome. And there I learned that the point of power is in the present moment. And if we're not in the present moment, we are powerless. So by keeping myself present and not focusing on the past, worrying about the future, I am in my point of power. And my only power is my power of choice. I have the power to choose to live with Holy Spirit and follow the guidance of love, or slip back into my traditional ego, selfish ways, which are so habitual and so strong.
The sin, guilt, fear.
Yes, sin, guilt, fear cycle, yes. So by keeping myself in the present moment, I can focus on the present power. And another point I wanted to make was, how many have read Dr. David Hawkins' Power versus Horse? Anybody read Power? Okay, awesome. This slight focus on taking my power and using my power in the present moment, or do I take my power and try to force someone else to comply with my wishes? If I'm trying to force someone else to comply with my wishes or the wishes of my society, then I'm no longer in the present moment, and I've given away my power.
There you go. Thank you. Dawn.
Boy, thank you. First, I want to say that Sri Ram brought a little tear to my eye. It was so nice to revisit what we used to do. I bought that CD, made 3 copies, listened to it all the time, and it's been put away for a long time, but that felt good. When Reverend Joanna spoke first this month, she talked about the difference between power with and power over. And it left me troubled and wondering, because I fear the power over folks. And although power with sounded so wonderful, I wondered, what am I going to do about these other people who seem to have so much power? And then I forgot about it, and then I haven't been reading much lately, but I picked up The Dream, the Journey, Eternity, and God, which is a little bit like the Conversations with God, in that Mike Dooley, who sends out daily words posing as the universe, asks a channel to bring the answers from a group of ascended masters. And what I got from that was that we have a lot of compassion, and we see these people who are wallowing down in a hard time, and we feel for them, and we think they're doing something bad, and we descend in to help them. And as we do that, we lose all the power that we have. We're no longer functioning at this higher level. And so we have much more power if we stay up in our high mind and don't descend down to think we have to fix somebody. And then the Ascended Masters went on to say that in our lifetime, we are all of us are going to ascend to a higher level of consciousness, where we're going to have great creativity, great peace, and great joy. And that people who we never thought were going to get there, we're going to look around and they came with us. And they came because we did what we did and reflected all our light and love into the world. And so that set my mind at ease, and now I have a better idea of what to do about those other people. Let them be.
Zach.
It's an interesting topic. You know, I find that like Jesus's power, you know, was in forgiveness. It was in not being in that higher state of being, knowing that he was just as fallible as everybody else. And through compassion, the expression, you talk about choice. The choice is to be always in love, to know that the Father is within, and to not be frightened or fearful of these other things, these other elements, but to be steadfast in the love of God and to express that outwardly to others, regardless of their stature in society. And I find that my power comes from empathy, you know, to be, not just look at homeless people, but to experience what it's like to be homeless, or experience what it's like to be on the bus, or experience other types of situations that are rather uncomfortable and unpleasant. And through that, I gain power. I gain power to be able to empathize with others, to talk with them, to love them, to actually really feel what it's like to be in those situations to the best of my ability. And that's where I get my power.
Thank you, Zach.
Yes.
I have been reading recently a book on happiness. And one of the things about happiness is, according to the studies, I don't know how they study these sorts of things, so I'm just going to assume there's something concrete about it. But according to studies, we are, on a daily basis, how happy we are is 50% based on our heredity and our genes and that sort of thing. And it's based in 10% on the external circumstances, where you are at the ball game or here in church or wherever. But 40% of your daily happiness can come if you are in the moment. Savoring was one of the terms he used. Any opportunity to savor some activity or a smell or a sound, music or a bird singing. When you think of that activity again years later or moments later, you will, the way he put it was, you will receive an echo of the joy you felt when you took the time to savor whatever that thing was. It will stick with you because you brought yourself into the moment, and you, by doing that and feeling what you're feeling, so that you really know what's going on there, that will stay with you, and you can savor almost every moment that we put our hearts into being in the moment. That can be a savoring moment. And when we think of that moment as we go on through our life, we will receive echoes of the joy that we felt from that activity. And I believe that is a lot of power. 40% of our happiness on a daily basis comes from our own choosing.
Thank you, Lonnie. That reminds me of a story I read recently. And it was about a little kid, and someone came into the room and said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Enjoying my blueberries." And she wasn't just eating them, she was enjoying them. And I was on a walk at the time, I was a podcast again, and I thought, yes, I'm enjoying this walk. I'm enjoying this weather. It's just a simple switch that changes the whole tone of it.
Yeah, and the intention of that is so important. That makes the difference in how you feel about something, and using that power to recognize it and choose to be happy. Yeah, exactly.
And I was thinking about Abraham Lincoln, and I was not alive while he was, but that quote is just right before you. But anyway, he said, very simple line that I remember is that people are as happy as they make up their minds to be. And I've always thought that's true, too. Yeah.
Okay, don't leave me standing here with this microphone.
Over here.
Joyce. I didn't introduce Lonnie because I just assumed everybody knew him. Sorry, Lonnie. This is Joyce.
Well, I discovered that this morning as I was sleeping. There came like a matrix into the background of was going adjoined to all the stuff that goes on in my life that us other people are not seeing. And so anyway, I says, okay, I don't find this acceptable. I'm going to let this go. And if it comes back, I'll know it's attacked. So anyway, I chose to let that matrix go because it was not progressing the life I expected people of our service.
Thank you, Joyce.
Makes it easy. I had one of these experiences where I lost my temper. I was feeding the cats. They were outside, and I took the tray out, and I'd just been vacuuming. I just vacuumed too, and as I opened the door, one of the cats jumped up and clawed me, made me bleed, spilled the cat food all over the floor. Just vacuumed, and I went on into the little rampage inside, just mentally. And I was probably talking out loud to myself. Any rate, and then I caught myself partway through it, just like that definition that Fillmore gave about power over our thoughts and feelings. And I realized it just even felt like a power drainage. And I thought, oh, listen to yourself. And then I laughed at myself. And it's fun to laugh at ourselves. And it's okay because I've been on this path for so many years now, since 1982. I still lose it sometimes, but I can catch myself, and then it's fun to be able to laugh at myself because even my personality and ego, they want to work with spirit, but they get hung up on their own little stuff sometimes, you know. And
Do you feel like sometimes you can step back and watch the show that you're putting on? It gives you a bit of a
Why am I doing this? Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. You can feel your power draining away when you realize that. What the heck? Kathy.
This is an example of power I saw the other day. I didn't experience it, but Ron takes our grandson out to the skate park we try to get him there every day for 2 hours. And so you get to know the locals, you get to know the kids around there. And as he's walking around, a 21-year-old and a 23-year-old came up to him and said, you know, we don't know what their background and family life is, but they said, we don't get a chance to speak to people in your generation. And do you mind if you just visit with us? And he sat and he talked to them. He told them about unity. He told them about growing up in New York. And they were exchanging stories. And I guess I see a lot of power in just, and who we are. And those boys, how brave was it for them to reach out to this guy? Because he was tough in his day, I'm telling you.
What do you mean was tough? That sounds past tense, Kathy. I'm not sure. I wouldn't cross him on a bad day. Well, yeah, but I love that story, and I think that's really hopeful. I think that's great that there's a hunger out there for knowledge about people who walk a different path than you do or have walked a different path. What those guys want? What those guys want? Just wanted to visit. We got a few more minutes. We've got time for a couple more people sitting on the edge of your seat. Sharon.
Well, I don't know if this is what comes up for me. I have lots and lots of time to watch podcasts and all kinds of stuff like that, and I think some of us know about the heart-brain coherence, and the fact that we actually have brain cells in our heart, and so I believe that, and so what I try to do is wherever I am and whoever I'm with, I just want to check in with my heart first, and that helps my brain do the right thing, say the right thing, be in the right place at the right moment, whatever. And I just find that coming from that sense of love. And so my new mantra, and I'm not bragging because I don't do this often enough, but when I think of it, I go, am I interacting with this person coming from a position of love? Because God is love for me. Love is God. They're the same thing. The creator of everything is love.
Well, we could end right there, but we have just a couple more minutes. Carrie?
When I think of power, I guess I'm not wanting any because I don't trust my own ego. And so, to me, power can only come from one place. And, that's the divine essence of the whole thing. And so, I struggle with one thing, remember. Just remember. I remember I was in the store the other day, and there was a mother with her kid in the cart, and she was being like really mouthy and loud and yelling at the kid, and the kid's response was to scream and yell back, and my mind kept saying, you're teaching the child how to behave. And my ego wanted to say, you need to get some parenting classes.
Tell me you didn't do that, please.
And so, of course, knowing that I'm in an ego state, I was silent, and by the time I was checking out, so by the time I got to my car, I felt so good because I started to love that woman and have empathy, as Zach was saying, which is, like my mother used to say, you don't know where that person's coming from. And just to allow that love, which is the power, to fill me up, and then kind of prayerfully thinking of her and her predicament and her life. And so that's not my power. That's me just trying to remember.
Which is what both the mother and the child needed at that moment, was someone to love them. Mm-hmm. That's what they needed. All right, one more. Do you have anything? Don't all stand up at once. All right, Dana, I'm coming your way. That's fine. I signed on.
That's quite a trick to walk in heels. Sharon and I have known each other for years and years, and I knew Sharon was going to talk about love. And I wanted to just say something about the power of love, and it starts with loving ourselves, self-love, and that's the basis for loving others, loving Spirit, loving God. It can go back and forth, but don't forget about self-love.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And if you have mastered, when you have mastered that self-love, then you can see how using that power that it creates in your core, that you can use that power in such an impactful way in our culture. Because what we need really is less power and more love.
Yep.
Isn't it?
Acknowledgement of the love inside of us, that is one of the 12 powers. It's there. It could be a little dormant sometimes, but our job is to express it, to enhance it. And that's the evolutionary thing about power that this chapter I was reading describes. This way? Yes. Okay. Usually I can talk loud enough for the parking lot to hear it. Anyway, you know, I don't know if I remember it all correctly, or sufficiently, but the whole idea of learning to use power, that's part of our evolutionary movement. If you look at history that's recorded anyway that we have heard, there have been a lot of things that have been done not from love, right? And so what the goal is in this evolutionary path is that we can become so expressive and free and everything, all those powers that we have that are divine given, so that we consciously choose to be in direct conscience with spirit, consciousness with spirit. So that's the idea. We're making baby steps. And I don't get too discouraged when I see some of the things that are going on. I think a little bit about Bob Egan, our former minister. One of the things that I remember he had said is that when, how did he say it? He was talking about how dark some things feel sometimes. And he said, we need to remember that when there is light and there's a balance, a critical mass theory kind of thing, when light is growing in the world, and when I look around, I think it is. I mean, we are really trying to enforce equal rights for all human beings, no matter what their differences are, no matter what. We are making all kinds of attempts to feed people who are starving. I mean, there's an impulse in people to give who have a lot to those who are not having what they need. All those things, I think, are part of the light that's growing. So what Bob said is when that level of light in the world is growing, everything that isn't light yet rises to the surface to be healed. He said that's why you see a lot of the ugliness and a lot of the ego crazy and a lot of the meanness and stuff, because that's coming up to be healed. People maybe are not conscious of that's what they're doing, but the universe, we're all one organism. We're just all one, just like the earth is one organism with all these different facets. The world, our world, is one organism. We're all just a piece of it. And so when part of that world starts to open up to the light, the others eventually will be brought up, because we always know that good wins out in the end. And so that's kind of a big picture.
Well, I'd really like to thank all of you for participating, and Mary and Chris for participating. And I think in closing, I'd like to share this from the Daily Word. Sometimes my heart hurts when I learn of the pain and conflict happening all over the world. I may feel powerless, wondering what I can do to help the world realize the harmony that would lead to peace. I start with my own thoughts and feelings, and I align my feelings with the truth of God. In prayer, I claim peace, harmony, and love. As these divine ideas flourish in my consciousness, I feel the constricting energies of fear, anguish, and worry diminish in my mind. From this place of spiritual clarity, I see the world as it can be, not as it is. I hold the high watch for each member of my human family. I see their divinity, their wholeness, and their spiritual right to live as free children of God. And that, my friends, is your power. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So this is yours now.
This is mine.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, this is
Stuff
mine.
out here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Get me all organized. All right, well, let's sing together again song number 32. Steve is going to lead us in song, Melodies from the Heart Songbook. Stand as you are able, and let's sing out.
All right, here we go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When in doubt and darkness, I'm gonna let it shine. When in doubt and darkness, I'm gonna let it shine. When in doubt and darkness, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When I greet my brothers, I'm gonna let it shine. When I greet my sisters, I'm gonna let it shine. When I greet my brothers, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When I need an answer, I'm gonna let it shine. When I need an answer, I'm gonna let it shine. When I need an answer, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. In all my daily living, I'm gonna let it shine. In all my daily living, I'm gonna let it shine. In all my daily living, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light, one more time. Here we go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And what would Rick say? He would say, "Oh yeah," I think, wouldn't he? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he would. All right, well, now it's time to bless our offering and thank our Creator for the many blessings that we have been given and affirm the truth about ourselves. So let's start with this little verse. Many of you know it by heart. My name is, and you use your name, and I am prosperous, always and in all ways. So let's say that together. My name is, and I am prosperous, always and in all ways. Remember, always means forever and ever and ever, and always as in all forms. So let's take our offering now. Hold it next to your heart. Think about your own personal prosperity, the gift that you've been given to be in this world, in this life, in this body, in this community, to share our time together and to share our prosperity and the love of our community. And let's bless our offering. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I share, and all that I receive. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. Amen.
Oh, some people wearing shades inside their houses after collisions with imaginary doors. So many babies miss their mommies and daddies lost to war, while flags are daily at half-mast. Still the costs of violence rise, while the left and right they fight and polarize. We could flip this thing around the day we realize peace pays nearly 8 billion ways. Raise your voice today, honoring the millions gone away. We have a say, we can sing or write or play. You know that there's a way. Do what you do, 'cause peace pays. Peace pays. In Afghanistan or Congo, Darfur to the USA, in Iraq or Gaza, everywhere we go. No, there's just got to be so many ways. Peace pays nearly 8 billion ways. Raise your voice today, honoring the millions gone away. We have a say, we can play or demonstrate, pray or meditate. Let's do what we do now. Peace pays. Peace pays. Peace pays. Oh, peace pays. Come on now, people. Peace pays. Peace pays. It's not religious or about no politics. It's about people everywhere. No, it's not just geographic. To cure that disease takes a conscious choice, with the beat of our hearts and the sound of one voice. That's when there's power in our hearts, power in our hands, in every single language, each and every land. Oh, the costs of violence rise, measured in lives. We may be smart, but when we're wise, then we'll realize peace pays 8 billion ways. Raise your voice today, honoring the millions gone away. We have a say, we can sing or demonstrate, pray or meditate. Let's do what we do now. Peace pays. Peace pays. Peace pays. Oh, peace pays. Come on, people. Peace pays. Peace pays. Peace. Thank you.
That's a pretty timely song, Steve. That just kind of came out of you recently, didn't it?
Pretty recently, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. It was great. Thank you. Well, I'd like to just take a moment in closing and bless our offerings, express our gratitude for the opportunity to be here together, to share these blessings and to pass them on. We are grateful. Thank you, God. Amen. All right. Well, I hope you have time to come down and join us downstairs for a little bit of social time after service today. We look forward to visiting with you a little bit. Let's circle around the room. We'll join hands. We'll say our prayer of protection and sing our peace song. Going to welcome our children in here. Our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.